Tonight, we travel back more than 3,000 years to the rugged hills and shining seas of ancient Greece. Here, a civilization rose that would leave behind golden treasures, mighty fortresses, and legends that echo through the ages. The Mycenaeans, warrior kings, traders, and storytellers, the ancestors of classical Greece. They built palaces on rocky hills, fought battles sung in epic poetry, and perhaps even waged the great war we know as the Trojan War. So close your eyes, let your mind drift, and together we'll walk through the citadels and myths of the Mycenaean world. The land of Mycenae, the Mycenaean world stretched across the Greek mainland, from the Peloponnese to Thessaly. The land was harsh, rocky mountains, dry plains, and narrow valleys. But the Mycenaeans turned these challenges into strength. Their cities were built on high ground, protected by massive stone walls, so strong that later Greeks believed they were built by giants, the Cyclopes. The most famous of these cities was Mycenae, with its iconic Lion Gate carved with two great lions standing over the entrance. Palaces and power. The Mycenaeans built palatial centers, not sprawling like the Minoans, but fortified citadels. Each palace was the seat of a Waynex, a king who ruled over surrounding lands and villages. Inside, the heart of the palace was the Megaron, a great hall with a central hearth, surrounded by painted walls and columns. Here, the king held feasts, received guests, and performed rituals. Unlike the Minoans, who valued art and trade above all, the Mycenaeans lived in a world shaped by war and power, trade and influence. Yet the Mycenaeans were not only warriors. They sailed the seas, trading pottery, olive oil, and weapons as far as Egypt and the Near East. They adopted much from the Minoans. Their writing system, Linear B, was based on the undeciphered Linear A through trade. They connected with the great powers of the Bronze Age world, the Egyptians, the Hittites, and the Canaanites. The Mycenaean world was part of a vast network where goods, ideas, and stories flowed across the seas. The warriors of Mycenae. The Mycenaeans are remembered as a warrior society. Graves from Mycenae, such as the famous grave Circle A, were filled with golden masks, bronze swords, and precious jewels. The most famous is the Mask of Agamemnon, a golden funerary mask discovered by archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann in the 19th century. Their weapons, spears, chariots, and swords reveal a people who valued strength and battle. It is no wonder that they became the heroes of epic tales, remembered for their courage and ferocity. The Trojan War and myth. No story of the Mycenaeans can be told without the legend of the Trojan War. According to later Greek poets, especially Homer's Iliad, the Mycenaean kings sailed across the Aegean to wage war against Troy. Agamemnon, king of Mycenae, led the expedition, alongside heroes like Achilles, Odysseus, and Ajax. Though we do not know how much of the story is true, archaeological evidence shows that a great city of Troy did exist, and that wars may have been fought there during the Mycenaean Age. The line between myth and history blurs, but the Mycenaeans gave birth to the stories. It became the foundation of Greek mythology. Daily life and society life for ordinary Mycenaeans was simple. Farmers grew wheat, barley, and olives. Shepherds tended flocks of sheep and goats. Craftsmen worked bronze, creating weapons, tools, and intricate jewelry. Women played important roles in weaving, religious rituals, and palace life. And in the evenings, perhaps, storytellers recited songs of heroes, gods, and battles. Oral traditions that centuries later would become the epic poems of Homer. The collapse of the Mycenaeans by around 1200 BCE, the Mycenaean world began to crumble. Cities were burned, palaces abandoned, and trade networks collapsed. Historians debate the cause. Perhaps invasions by mysterious sea peoples, perhaps drought or famine, perhaps internal conflict. Whatever the reason, the once great citadels fell silent, and Greece entered a period of decline known as the Dark Age. The Mycenaeans disappeared, but their memory lived on in stories of gods and heroes. The legacy of the Mycenaeans, though their civilization ended, the Mycenaeans planted the seeds of Greek culture. Their myths inspired the Iliad and the Odyssey. Their palaces and art influenced later Greek architecture, and their tales of gods, warriors, and kings became the heart of Western storytelling. The Lion Gate, the Golden Mask, the ruins of Mycenae, all remind us of a people whose memory turned into legend. As you rest now, imagine standing before the Lion Gate at dusk, the stones glowing in the fading sun. Imagine the sound of bronze swords clashing, the chants of warriors preparing for battle, and the faint voices of storytellers weaving myths around a fire. The Mycenaeans lived long ago, but their stories still reach us, like echoes across time. Close your eyes and drift into sleep with the heroes of old. Their names carried on the whisper of history. Good night.